Good morning and welcome to Simply Seawalker. My name is Rebecca. Today we're going to be sorting some buttons while I go through a little bit of a story time and give a little bit of a history on who I am. I don't know exactly where I'm going to be going with this story time, and I can be a little scattered, so please bear with me. But I thought I might come on and just kind of give a little bit of an idea of who I am and go from there. All right, here we are down at the sorting area. I just realized that I was putting all of my black beads into my gray section. And that is not what I want. So pull these black beads, black buttons out. Actually, gray and black could go. No, I like to have, I think there's enough gray. Oh no, this is a broken button. I'll decide. I don't know. Maybe when I come across that, I'll be using like a free form pattern. Anyways. All right, so I am 35 years old and I'm a mother of 5. I have 2 from my previous marriage and 3 with my current partner. My partner and I have known each other since we were 13 years old. Well, I was 13, he was 14 when we met. We met in the 8th grade. And we have been best friends, like, since the day we met. We also went through a few things together. There was a time where a predator was focusing in on him, and he was very oblivious to it. He didn't notice, he didn't catch on, it wasn't clicking that this is what was happening. And as I was seeing it from the outside, I was like, oh my God. And so I finally went to my mom, told my mom, hey, who went to his dad and said, hey, this is what was brought to me. What have you heard? And he was like, what? No, I haven't heard anything. And anyways, it was a big deal. And things finally settled out, and he turned and he looked at me that night that I told my mom our parents got us together and started asking us questions, and he was like, yeah, that happens. What do you mean? That's what? Oh my goodness, I didn't know. Like, you could tell he didn't realize what was happening. It wasn't something that was clicking. Because it wasn't clicking for him, he was really shocked by everything. But as soon as it was explained to him and he was able to recognize, to see what was happening, he was like, oh, wow, that's really creepy. That's really scary. Thank you for saying something. I really appreciate you saying something. But this is going to cost you your friendship with our friend, And I was like, I don't know what else to do. I can't sit by and watch something happen that I know is not okay. I have to say something. I have somebody like that in my family that they went to jail for the whole thing. And so I'm like hyper about it. And I could not just sit there and do nothing, even if it meant losing our friend. And it did mean losing our friend for a little while, which sucked. We did eventually come back together, all of us, and we still talk all to this day. But yeah, it was crappy. It was a crappy thing that happened. But it really solidified our relationship as friends, as like best friends, and as someone that with after going through that together, you feel like you can go to that person for anything and no judgment, no worries, no anything. And that's how it was. Anytime there was a problem, we went to each other and could talk and know that we weren't going to be made fun of for our feelings, which, I mean, when you're in high school, you're not going to get that often. So When we were 19, he was leaving for South Dakota, and he decided to tell me how he felt about me. Like he couldn't leave, and I couldn't let him leave without expressing the way I felt. And we finally told each other just exactly how much we care for each other. And because we'd been friends so long, the conversation ended up in the where we could be if we weren't being separated. He wasn't leaving for South Dakota, kind of thing, and where it could go, all that. And yeah, we came up with our daughter's name, and everything. And ironically, we used that name later, um, which is kind of funny. Like we actually used the name. Um, and I think it's cool. Um, but we never got to actually date while we were in high school. Never. I mean, we wanted to date, but anytime one was single, the other one was dating someone, you know how high school is. So, and we liked each other, but we didn't really tell each other how much we liked each other. We snuck a kiss in when we were 16 one time in front of the mailboxes. Totally memory. I remember. I mean, obviously, I just shared it. But that's it. He's always someone I've been able to talk to about anything. He would come to me with his problems. And then we graduated high school and went our separate ways for a while. And then when we were 19, he was moving to South Dakota, and he decided that he was never going to see me again. And so he wanted to tell me, like, hey, I have to tell you how I feel. Like, I can't leave without telling you. And we both confessed our feelings to each other. And in talk, because we were such best friends, for us it was easy to talk about like what a future would be like if we were together, and what our kids could be named and stuff. And we came up with our daughter's name at that time, Donica Lynn Seawalker. And then he left, and he was gone for years. But while he was gone, we never stopped talking. We always found a way to get together when he would come into town. Always. He would always try to stop by, even, and he would bring his girlfriend with him. I was pregnant with my daughter, and he brought his girlfriend and their kids over to see the horses. It was great fun. And yes, we had we had feelings for each other that we had talked about back in the day, but I mean, we lived separate lives far away. That's just what it was. In 2016, 2015, I started having seizures, and things were really intense. I was addicted to my pain medication, which, if you guys would like a story time about that, what happened, I became addicted through medical treatment. I can definitely give a story time on that, and how it came to be, and all of those types of things. Here's my remote. But right now I'm just trying to kind of give an overview. So anyways, by that time I was already addicted to my pain medication, and which was not causing my seizures, by the way. And things just weren't good in my marriage. I was unhappy with a lot of the way things were going, and it was starting to crumble. In 2016, I finally just kind of was done, and I left my husband, and called Brent, who is my partner, said, hey, I'm done. I need somewhere to go. Can I come there? at this time, he was like dating around, but he was single. He had been sort of dating the gal across the street, but by the time I was messaging him, their relationship ish thing was crumbling apart. And um, so it just, you know, it worked out. And he was like, yeah, you know what? You can come to my house. You and your kids are welcome. Come on. And so that's what I did. My divorce was awful. It was messy. I got pregnant with my daughter, Donica, in 2017. And while I was still technically married, but I had been separated for like 8, 9 months at that point. And because I was still addicted to my pain medication, when I became pregnant with her, I immediately went into a treatment center and got signed up for treatment and got on the road to recovery. And that is what I've been doing since. I have been working on my recovery and staying, sober for my children. It's been a process, but I am proud of where I've gotten to. I am really solid in where I'm at. I don't feel like the urge or the need at all anymore, which is really great. And I can focus on other health issues and my family, my kids, which is what I do. I focus on my kids. Trying to figure out where to put this one. It has, I wonder if I can show this like sheen to it. It's hard because the light wants to glare off of it. No. There's like this like it's almost like red bits of shiny acrylic underneath and then like a dark thing over it. If you're in person, you'd see. I'm thinking I'm still going to put it in here though with the wood-ish type ones. Anyways, so where was I? In any case, I started going to treatment, started getting my stuff straightened out, and working from there. I think I'm going to no, I don't want to put those in here. Some of these, though, I would say can go here. Yeah. Orange or yellow? Yellow, I think. I don't know. So once I started treatment, a lot of things happened. It took a while for my mind to heal and settle out and be able to function normally, properly. It was a lot of work and it wasn't easy. There were a lot of moments where I just like stalled and I would get stuck in a spot and I would have a hard time getting around it. But I feel like now I'm in a really good place. I've started hanging out with my family again without feeling uncomfortable. And I've started making friends again and all of that. One of the things that helped me with my recovery too was that's like a purple, but that's not. Was crocheting. Crocheting is like therapy to me. When I was first starting my recovery, if I would have like an urge or anything like that, I would just pick up my crochet. Also, with my PTSD, it helps me when I'm out in public. If I'm uncomfortable, everyone knows I am uncomfortable, nervous, like my family anyway, if I am crocheting while we're like out and about. Or if we're having a party and I pull my crochet out and start doing it, like randomly in the middle of nowhere, they know I'm nervous, upset, uncomfortable, whatever. Coffee break. I love this cup with these little charms, but my son can open this, and I need a cup that locks. So any suggestions on those would be great. So anyways, in 2019, oh, here's all my other black ones. Oh no, these are just all the ones I pulled out. Silly me. In 2019, I had our second daughter, Avery. And when we were picking Donica's name, we were like, if we have a boy, let's name him Avery. And then I was like, why can't we use Avery for a girl too? And so I decided that if we had another child, they would be Avery. And when we got pregnant with Avery, she was Avery. Now, at the time that I got pregnant with Avery, I was actually homeless. It still took us a few months to get a place. They come running in kind of in a panic, trying to find her on the monitor. When they finally find her, she's in really big distress, and we need to go to the operating room right now. They literally drag my bed out of the room, start flying down the hallway, and are stripping my clothes off down the hall as we go. I have a nurse standing on my bed, ripping my shirt off. They're trying to get me ready. So on our way to the OR. It's everything's going fast, and it's a bit of a blur. I can go a little more in depth for each pregnancy and a video for each one later if you're interested, or each of my high risk pregnancies, because my first two pregnancies were risky but not as bad, but my last three, man. So anyways, Avery was born. It was helter skelter, really scary, really crazy, and she went to the NICU. We were dealing with CPS at the time, because of homelessness and the addiction and all of that. And so Avery went to my mom, and like from the hospital. She already had Donica, and yeah, that's a whole story all in itself. But everything's good now. I've had custody since 2020. Well, I've had full custody since 2021. My case was completely closed in 2021, and I haven't had any issues since. I mean, it's definitely been a learning process. That transition was something else. It was definitely different. The girls are on the spectrum, and like there are just a lot of things that are different, Plus, when somebody else has your kids for the first, year and a half or 2.5 years of their life, even if you're there, which I was there and a part of their lives, visits, going over to my mom's house, dinners, birthdays. I mean, everyday type, not every day, but I mean, I was there. There were times when I wasn't, while I was going through the beginning of my recovery, and my mind wasn't in a good place. But honestly, it was probably better that during those times I wasn't there, as much as a lot of people won't understand that. I think there will be people who do. But everything is going good now. But yeah, when somebody else has your kids for the first little bit, it's a big learning process. It's huge. It's not the same as when you have had them from the very beginning. So they would go back and forth from my house to my mom's house, because at first I just wanted to keep them all up for myself, not let them go. I have them, they're mine. Keep, no, stay away, big mama bear. I don't want to share. And I realized, though, I mean, right, they couldn't just be taken from my mom like that. They had bonded with my mom in the same kind of way that your baby does with you when you come home from the hospital. And that was completely not fair of me to rip away from them. or of my mom for that matter. So I went out of my way to make sure that my mom and the girls still got all of the time that they needed together. At first, it was like half the week there, half the week here, and then it migrated. Now we're at. They go there on the weekends and stuff like that. Avery is there about half of the time, 50% of the time. Um, she needs. I call my mom my mom's husband. She's like co-parenting with my partner and I with the girls. Not because we can't handle it, but because there is a relationship there. Away, you know. So, um, and so I saw no reason to destroy that. And frankly, I love how much my kids love their mama. You know, I absolutely love it. Um, Today she actually has the little guy, which he doesn't go over very often or for very long because he is very much a mama's boy. Like he very anxiety when he's separated from me, kind of mama's boy. Um, so he's over there right now, giving me a little bit of a break, which I kind of needed. And yeah, I thought I would hop in here and do a little bit of story time with you guys. So, um, he was born in 2024. My pregnancy with him, that was yeah. I will make a video for each pregnancy, or at least the last, like I said, at least the last three, and explain how those went, what was the deal with those ups and downs, all of that, because there's a lot to unpack there. A lot of trauma with Avery's delivery, and with Donica's delivery. They made me absolutely terrified to be awake during my son's. And I can explain, like I said, I will explain that in more detail later. But I had an amazing physician this year, and I could not thank her more for giving me confidence and encouraging me and to get to tell myself that I'm doing a good job. You know, I realized that I have never celebrated my recovery. I have years of recovery, but I've never celebrated an anniversary. And I'm not sure if that was because I don't know, but yeah, never celebrated an anniversary of it. So, um, just she taught me that I am doing good and it's okay to be proud of myself. And that was I needed that. I really did. I will forever be grateful for her. Her name is Dr. Simmons, and I made her some headbands because she's not a hat lady for sure, but made her some crochet headbands as a thank you. And I take pictures of my little guy and my family over to her, every few months. I send them over because my delivery with him was scary. I had to go back in for another surgery from a bleed and have a big hematoma cleared out, which was really scary. So there was a lot involved in my delivery. And she was just amazing. I love it. It's not just her who was my doctor during my delivery. I had a whole team, but she set that team up. And I will be forever grateful for her for showing me that I am worthy, you know? So, and that kind of pretty much, I mean, it doesn't totally catch us up. Kelvin is a year and a half old, but I think it's a good place to stop for our story time. If you'd like to come back for more and hear more stories about you know, my life and who I am. If you'd like to see what's going on with the kids or come back for some crochet videos, reviews. I'm getting ready to upload a review on a crochet hook, and I am also getting ready to start recording some reviews on some crochet kits, which I can give a little sneak peek. Here we go. Oops, bonk. I have this that I am, oops, here, maybe over here. Haha. This that I'm going to be doing a crochet kit review on, probably the first one, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you'd like to see those, please go ahead and subscribe, like, share, all of the things. I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my channel going. I have 20 subscribers right now, which I mean actually feels like such a crazy thing. There are 20 strangers who are interested in what I'm putting up online, and thank you so much for subscribing. I really do appreciate it.